Hey friends, what's happening? This is Dr. Heather live from Ask Dr. Heather here in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm giving just a second here because I am going to try to share this to another page. So I actually have got a hot topic here. I know I talk often about, I've got a list always stewing over here of people asking questions, but this is a super important question. So hopefully you're enjoying the questions that I've been asking and you're getting some feedback and some of your questions answered. So hey Jennifer, hey Dory, thanks for joining. So today, and I'm also trying to add some more fun things in there. So some funny keto low carb comics in there because I'm not as funny as Dory is. She's got some awesome comics, so follow along her page. She's always super funny. But today I want to clarify because last week I talked a little bit about myostatin, and then on my other keto page I talked a little bit about myostatin, and people are like super confused. Somebody said it's way too technical for me, but this honestly is very important. It's one of the main reasons besides fat loss. Well, actually cognitive is the number one reason I recommend a ketogenic diet. That's why it was discovered anyway back at, over 100 years ago for children who are non-responsive to medication who are having epileptic seizures. So besides cognitive issues, cognitive function, better recall, better thought process, we see so much happening, whether it's ADHD, anxiety, depression. We're going to talk about lean muscle mass because some of the myth is that if I go on a ketogenic diet, I'm going to get too skinny, I'm going to lose weight, I'm not going to be able to bulk up. But I want to talk to you women out there who are over the age of 29, really maybe 30 or so, who are really worried about lean muscle mass. We know just normal part of aging is that we actually lose lean muscle mass. But did you know there is an enzyme called myostatin? I'll say it 2 or 3 times because I talked about it earlier, and people like, that was too fast, that was too much, it was way over my head, you have to talk slower. So myostatin, and you can look this up on Dr. Google, is really the governor of protein synthesis. Protein is the building blocks, or amino acid really is the building blocks to our muscles. We have 21 different amino acids. So we talk about what myostatin does. It limits muscle growth by inhibiting muscle protein synthesis. So what that means, when you're in a state of ketosis, you actually have myostatin is turned off. So that means your lean muscle is protected. We know that when you're eating glucose and carbohydrates, that myostatin is turned on. So what does that mean? I'll talk about myself. In the early 80s when I was running my first marathon, in the late 80s when I was running marathons, I was on a high carbohydrate diet. I was actually a vegan and vegetarian during some of that time. I would run through all my glucose as I was running my marathon or my triathlons, run through my glucose, then go through glycogen. What happens next? Then I start tapping into my lean muscle mass through something called gluconeogenesis. I would start tearing down my lean muscle mass. I know it sounds terrible, but that's honestly what happens. And so it tears down my lean muscle mass. It's another storage place of energy. And so after I finished my race, I would still have a decent time. I would honestly feel like I had the flu for 2 or 3 weeks. And so it also creates a very high level of cellular dehydration. So it still happens today of people who are overfeeding carbohydrates prior to a race. That's why it's gotten very popular from some of the leading thought leaders like Dr. Finney, Dr. Volek, Dr. Petre, that you actually fast before doing an endurance race, because when you're fasting, you run through your glucose and glycogen, and then your ketones are in charge. You're burning fat for fuel. Well, that happens because myostatin is turned off, the governor of protein synthesis. So when that happens, you block that, and that you preserve lean muscle mass. Why is this so important? Why are you going really slow, talking slow for myself? And actually, as you're joining, I forget this part. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know if this is your first time joining Ask Dr. Heather. Please share this because this is really important, especially for all of you. Hey, Jill, I know you heard this earlier, but I'm going to go slow based on one of the recommendation of Amy's friends, that if you're transitioning to a ketogenic diet, or maybe you're drinking pure therapeutic ketones and you say, oh, I'm on a keto diet, I'm eating the keto macros, I'm having some cheese, I'm having some nuts, I'm having some dairy and some vegetables, I'm not having this. Well, if you're not tracking So I got messages coming through. You guys send them messages not through Messenger. Pop them down below here. People start dumping messages through Messenger. And share this, share this, share this. If you're transitioning over to a ketogenic diet, there's a chance as you transition over, you could lose some lean muscle mass as your body starts to do this, because it's used to being a sugar burner. It's going to burn through your glucose. It's going to go through your glycogen. And if your liver's not smart and hasn't done it for a long time, because our body knows how to burn glucose and knows how to burn ketones, until your liver's conditioned to going say, hey, I need some energy. I'm going to go tap into that stored fat, generally the white fat. I'm going to break it down, uncouple it, and use that for energy. If it's not used to doing that, sometimes get confused and it's like, oh, I know how to break down lean muscle mass. This chick is a carb burner. I'm just going to go there and get that. I'm going to break down lean muscle mass, and then she's going to refeed on carbs and I'll be okay. That's generally when you don't feel very good. You feel super fatigued, maybe feel fluish. Those type of things happen. That's when I love using pure therapeutic ketones, and not just any ketones. The only ones I would feed myself or my family, the ones that are bioidentical to what our body makes, because at that bridge point, again, it's a tool. That's how I see ketones. It's a tool to bridge to help protect your lean muscle mass. Not only do you get the minerals, you get the vitamin B6 and B12, which are also great communicators to help protect our cells and communicators. It's a bridge as your body's transitioning over into that state of being a sugar burner to a carb burner. You actually miss that chance, because when you drink the ketones, within just a few minutes you're in ketosis. You're protecting that lean muscle mass. You're turning off myostatin, so you don't have a chance of it tapping into your lean muscle mass. The same thing is true. Maybe you're a low carb diet and you're going to go work out, and we know as we work out, we're tearing down lean muscle mass at the gym. We're crushing our workout. We want to protect our lean muscle mass. And the same thing is true is that after you work out, and I had this question as well, what do I do after workout? Don't I want to post feed on my sweet potato? Do I want to have some rice? Don't I want to have my plantain or my banana? No, you want to use something like Keto Pro that has a little less beta hydroxybutyrate, has some additional proteins, but not enough protein where it spikes your insulin, but it has MCT in there, which is fat, which doesn't require insulin, but also your body takes the MCT and converts it into more protein. So again, as women, we definitely want to protect our lean muscle mass. It's so hard to recreate more lean muscle mass. It's so hard to protect it. Stress, high cortisol can also wreck your lean muscle mass as hormones start to change, when the ratios aren't just right as we start to age, and that can happen over 15 years. You can have improper ratios as we go through that. Having your thyroid out of balance, having your TSH2 low can actually burn through lean muscle mass. Too much stress, lack of sleep can burn through your lean muscle mass. That's when you can use your pure therapeutic ketones as a tool or as a bridge to help protect that lean muscle mass. So number one, as a bridge turning over into that. Or for me, when I actually was in my accident in 2014, I was on a ketogenic diet. We did not have pure therapeutic ketones. I was mixing up coconut oil, fermented grains, and bone broth. When I was doing my fasting, I was doing 8 hours was my intermittent fasting hours. 1 day a week, I would do an OMED, which is one meal every day. So 1 day a week, I would do a 24-hour fast. And in that fasting period, I would do some bone broth. I call that God's Gatorade. And I would do some fermented greens. But I had to be really particular on my macros. I know I shared a bit of this the other night. And yes, you don't have to be in an accident to do this. And then when I would do my extended fast once every 3 weeks, which would be 72 hours, I would do that to reset the inflammatory markers. I do that to reset my taste buds in case my cravings got away from me. I would do that to give my whole system a rest, because I have something called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. So I would do that to calm down the nervous system, because ketones calm down the nervous system and increases GABA, increases dopamine. It does this for everybody. You don't have to be in an accident. You can just be in your normal mom or dad or grandma or grandpa mode or teacher mode, and just be in a fight or flight mode or a nurse mode, and need to calm that down and press that reset button. And what happens when you do that fast, and again, before ketones, I would be doing some bone broth, I would do some fermented greens, I would stir up some coconut oil, I put a little PB powder in there, I crush some almonds, or crush some, put some sorry, reading stuff. It's too late for my brain to do this. Some cashew powder. I put some really, really low index or some pumpkin powder in there for a little bit of protein powder, and keep it very low. I'd follow Jason Fung's rules, so you can get his book on fasting, guys. So I'd follow a lot of his protocols with that, or Dr. Dan Pompous fasting Fasting with a Purpose. I'd follow some of his groups. And then Prove It came along in 2015 and said, I have a pure therapeutic exogenous ketone. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you can actually just drink the ketones. What that did is kept my energy level up, so I wasn't feeling tired and wasn't feeling fluish. I could actually continue to work my day-to-day business, which is being a mom, trying to survive, keep up with the housework, keep up with everything else, and still have the energy. We know oxygen is vital for life. So when you're drinking the ketones as you're transitioning to a low carb or just cutting out the sugar, don't even have to transition. Maybe you're transitioning from 500 carbohydrates down to 200 carbohydrates, or transitioning from 200 down to just 70 carbohydrates. Ketones have 38% more oxygen. So drinking this instead of my orange juice, or instead of a soda, or instead of a smoothie, I'm getting 38% more oxygen. I'm getting more ATP. I'm protecting my lean muscle mass. So if you're on, and this is the third step, I should have layered these out. I do have lots of notes, but I'm not following them. And so if you're transitioning to a ketogenic diet, I had somebody say, oh, I'm on a ketogenic diet. I'm doing 26 grams of carbs or 36 grams of carbs. I'm like, on a ketogenic diet, you should be 80% of your diet should be carbohydrates. So seeing that her ratios weren't even that high, you should be doing a lot more. So if you're doing minimal fats and her fats were like 26 grams of fat, and on a ketogenic diet, knowing it should be like 100 and something grams of fat and maybe 50 or 60 grams of protein and maybe 20 grams of carbohydrates. If you're not doing enough fat, then what happens is your body's going to tap into your lean muscle mass and start tearing it apart because it needs energy. That's where, when your diet's not perfect, your macros aren't perfect, your stress is off, your hormones are off, and our hormones are changing every hour of the day, especially with the stress we've had the last 90 days. That's where ketones work, as that bridge, is kind of that band-aid that covers and helps you get through that stressful time, that helps get and cover you through that. So when you drink the ketones, it puts you in ketosis for anywhere from 2 to 6 plus hours. We also know that when myostatin, we want that turned off to protect our lean muscle mass, that creatinine is also one of those other enzymes that actually help. So myostatin is a protein, but creatinine is also in the myoplex, which is an electrolyte that Prove It makes. We also know that creatinine in here, creatinine also helps protect our lean muscle mass. We also know that leucine is one of those amino acids that helps protect our lean muscle mass. And we have leucine in all of our NAT products. So in all of our, I call it our superhero, our NAT are all natural ketone products. We have leucine in all of our products. Leucine is one of those amino acids you don't get in the diet very often, is a vegetarian source, so it's great for everyone. And it also helps protect our lean muscle mass. So as women, you're thinking, man, I'm working out really hard, but I'm not getting that definition. It could be because you're still eating too many carbohydrates, which are still stimulating myostatin, which is, again, is that governor or in charge of that protein synthesis, and you're not letting enough of that happen because you don't want to overdo it. There are a lot of drugs, a lot of supplements sold at some of those other stores, those nutrition stores, that help inhibit muscle growth. It sounds funny, inhibit muscle growth, but it's all about protein synthesis. You want to protect your lean muscle mass as we start to age, and we'll make sure that we burn fat, that we don't burn our lean muscle mass. So I hope that kind of clarifies. I talked about it in another group, and it was just a little bit confusing. But again, as we transition over, anytime you go on a low calorie diet, that can happen as well. People are like, oh, my hair is falling out. What's happening? Well, hair is made from protein and collagen. So if you're not eating enough protein, or your gut's a mess and you're not digesting the protein, or you're putting cheese and barbecue sauce all over your protein, probably not going to digest it very well. And then you're not be able to make things like protein and hair and nails that you need. So some of it can be that as well. Or again, not eating enough calories. Your body doesn't care about hair, your heart, your organs, things like that. Your skeletal muscle is much more important. So that's where ketones come in as that bridge to help cover that out. So we have more information on our YouTube videos, on our Prove It TV or Apple TV. You can find that as well. But that's just another way to think about this. Some people think, oh, I've got to drink it all day for fat loss. Well, yeah, it does help burn fat while protecting your lean muscle mass. And I probably could have said that in one sentence and we could already be in bed and done for the day. But I wanted to explain it a little bit slower because some people were confused why I was saying that. But I look at people's food diaries all day long. My thing is, if you're going to be on a ketogenic diet, you do need to check your ketones either by urine or by blood or by breath, because if you're not testing positive and you just started, that's okay. So test in the morning, drink your ketones once or twice a day. You don't want to test your ketones after you drink your ketones because you'll test positive. So drink them when you don't have the exogenous ketones in your body. And then before you go to bed, make sure that you're testing positive for ketosis. If not, then you want to drink your ketones again, the uncharged ones, because you want to go to bed in ketosis. So as your body's using energy all night long, you're protecting that. Some other reasons why you might not be in ketosis: you're following the macros, you've done the keto calculator, you've met with a coach on the side, you've got all the perfect macros, you've calculated this, you've calculated that, you've done it all 3 different ways in 15 different calculators. This happens. Your energy expenditure is different every single day. Your stress is different every single day. You do not walk the same steps. Nobody walks exactly 15,000 steps every single day. Nobody breathes exactly the same breaths every single day. Nobody sleeps exactly the same minutes every single day. Nobody has the same stress load. Your hormones are different every single hour of every single day. There's no way to guesstimate. We can guesstimate an average. And also, with that being said, as your body changes, as you lose 10 or 15 pounds, or as you increase lean muscle mass, you also need to change that as well. So say like you're working out 5 days a week, and now since everything's free, you're going to drive across America and go visit some family members. You're going to be sitting in the car. Those are different macros than when you're out training. So you need to make sure that you're kind of calculating those. I really like people just to start being intuitive. I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. I'm going to stop when I'm full. And then you start really getting into that basic native style of eating, is eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full. My 2 middle sons made dinner last night, like, Mom, we got dinner, we got this. And so I honestly wasn't hungry last night. I wasn't going to eat dinner, but they made such a big production of it. They made breakfast for dinner. Like, we scrambled you eggs, you put veggies in that. I thought, I could have some protein. They did make some low carb French toast in that, and I'm like, no. And we had the keto maple syrup out with some grass fed butter. I'm like, no. I mean, I'm okay with saying no with that kind of stuff. They made bacon and sausage, but I probably wouldn't have eaten. But I end up having a little bit of something. But sometimes there's times where you don't want to eat, but then you feel like you should eat. That kind of peer pressure, maybe a little bit. I hope they're not watching, but it's okay to say no, especially as summertime comes up. I know people are getting parties back on the schedule, graduations back on the schedule, weddings are coming up for people, that you really need to be mindful and kind of be prepared. Like, that's okay if you don't eat that. Or really ask yourself, am I eating because I'm hungry? And this is HALT is my word, HALT. Somebody type that down below if you're following me. Jill, this would be for you. Am I eating because I'm hungry? Am I eating because I'm angry? Am I eating because I'm lonely? Am I eating because I'm tired? Now, if you're eating because you're tired, you made the wrong choices throughout the day. You could be dehydrated. Maybe you just need some salt. If you're eating because you're hungry, then reflect back. Man, I haven't had enough food today. I need some more protein. I need some more fat. Am I eating because I'm angry? We do that a lot out of our food. Thank you, Mary Kay. Awesome. So, and then again, if you're eating because you're lonely, like, is food is your friend? Is that your coping mechanism? Then we need to exchange that with somebody else and find you, thanks, Jill, find you a new accountability partner, like a new book to read, or a new exercise to do, or a new hobby to do. So make a vision board, make a accountability a friend, or make some like an attitude gratitude journal. I know Joe's got some great ideas of how to turn everything into a positive world. So Joe, drop down some ideas if you have some. So I know other people have ideas too. So my thing is, as you're moving forward, people ask me, why do you drink them? Well, because stress can kick me out of natural ketogenesis. It happens. A lot of people cannot get into ketogenesis, which is when your body grabs out and goes and grabs the fat and makes ketones. It can be because of stress. It can be because you can't get your macros calculated later. It can be because you can't figure out your energy expenditure. It is all over the place. Maybe you work 3/12s and you work nighttime shifts and you sleep the other part and you're taking care of kids. It can be because you're not rotating foods. You're having eggs and bacon. You're having the same foods every single day. If you do that for 4 days, you stall and you create a plateau. If you're eating in the same time frame, I'm eating between 11 and 5 every single day, you'll create a plateau because that's not organically eating. That's not telling your body when I'm hungry, when I'm eating. If you have food sensitivities, if you know you have a mold allergy, like environmentally a mold allergy, and you're eating a lot of dairy, which is moldy, or you're eating a lot of vinegars, waters, which is moldy, or sauerkraut or kombucha, all that stuff is moldy. That can stop you from actually getting the results you want. It can cause gas, it can cause bloating, it can cause constipation. If you're not eliminating every day, that can also cause a stall or plateau and not getting the results that you want. If your sleep is off, if you're not sleeping 7 hours a day, at least 7 to 8 hours a day, that can cause it off. If your hormones are off, male or female, males go through andropause and it's going earlier and earlier. You're finding your hair gray, you're finding some man boobs or some girl boobs, you're finding, that you're not getting the workouts. You used to be able to do 100 sit-ups and now you can only do 50 and don't know what the heck's going on. You're finding you're too fatigued to work out, like you're just tired at the end of the day. You're finding that you're craving sugar and things like that, or now you're getting diagnosed with cholesterol issues, you're getting diagnosed with other issues as males. Those are all little hints that metabolically something's going on. So what do? You start being your detective. You start stripping it all down and go back to basics. You get that very basic ketogenic diet that has no processed food, no slim fast bars, no slim fast drink, no this or that collagen that has maltodextrin in it, and you go back to eating the very basics. You have vegetables, you have fish, you have meat, and you rotate through that so you're not having the same foods any 2 days, and you can get everything you need from Aldi and get it delivered to your home. The quality of fish might not be the same. The meat quality might not be the same. However, you can get everything you need at Olives. Get some macadamia nuts for one day, get some olives for one day, and just get some almonds for one day, just rotate it out. Get some eggs for one day, get some salmon for one day, get some beef for one day, get some ground turkey or some turkey thighs for one day, get some chicken legs for another day. Keep it very simple. You don't have to break the bank. Pick a protein, pick 2 cups of vegetables per meal, pick 2 tablespoons of fat per meal. That can be avocado oil, it can be again, kind of whatever on sale. It can be extra virgin olive oil, it can be butter. Just make sure if you're trying to lose weight that you're not always doing beef and pork, because you're gonna get less calories if you're doing some fish. Same thing if you're always doing nuts. Look at seeds like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. They're very high in zinc. It's great for testosterone for men and for women. It's high in zinc, which is great for gray hair and for fingernails. So you can do some this for that. Cabbage is also great. It's cheaper than any type of taco shell you can buy. So I just wanted to go into a few things. I had one little last note I was going to go over and might have lost my note. You guys might have lucked out. I had a tiny little note somewhere. Oh, it's on the floor. My last little tiny little note was what to do, which I think we just did. Start being a detective. Start being a big detective. Write down when you're feeling sad, when your energy's low, when you're feeling bloated. See, I'm eating the same food all the time. If you need a food diary, just slip me an email and let me send you one. The last 3 or 4 weeks, and then if you didn't join us in, we did 2 weeks ago, we did 10 ways to win at fat loss with 10 health hacks in 10 days. Amazing results. People were losing weight everywhere. People started drinking water. People started sleeping better. People got happier. People made vision boards. You can go rewatch those. They're all down below. It's totally free to do, and they're all super, super short. You can do those. Just start them. And then again, be a detective and keep it simple. KISS. Keep it super simple. Never about perfect. It's just about getting started. I do love my exogenous ketones. I struggled that first year to be in ketosis. Every time my female cycle came, I was out of ketosis. Every time I was mad about physical therapy or mad about what happened after my skiing accident, I was in ketosis. Mad when I couldn't attend an event or couldn't go to the gym or I had to turn in my Lifetime Fitness card, I was mad. Had to turn it in, mad or sad, whatever the word is. So mad that I couldn't drive, mad that I'd send somebody to the store to get me something like vegetables and they would come back not what I would pick. So I know it's a little bit of a control issue, but it's also a little bit of I couldn't do it myself issue. So every time that would happen, it would ding, ding, ding. It would cause my stress to go up and kick me out of ketosis. That's why ketones calm down the nervous system, rest and repose and digest, and do amazing things. So think of this as a tool. Just like if you were diabetic, your doctor would give you exogenous insulin. If you were low in iron, your doctor would give you a iron supplement. I'll let you guys fill in the blank there. If you had some osteoporosis, osteopenia, or low magnesium, had some leg cramps, your doctor would give you some magnesium or calcium. If you're having sugar cravings, if you can't get down to 8 hours of intermittent fasting, if you're having trouble to get in ketosis, or you don't want to be in ketosis, you want to be in a low carb diet, but you want to protect your lean muscle mass, and you're tired, stinking tired of the sugar cravings, this is a tool for you. And it comes in lots of amazing flavors. We have great price points. You can get your product for free. I never like to talk about money, but I do want to say that I have never had anybody return product in 5 years. I have to say that. And I want to come out and be bold. Hey, Bill, thanks for joining us. We had our reunion on Friday. I was thinking about you and forgot to call you and get Shannon's number. So sorry. I need to get a hold of you anyway, Bill. So anyway, Carla, thanks for tagging people in there. Alex and Carrie, thanks for joining us. I know I miss people. I'm always like, should I yell at people, not yell, or yell at people's names? So please share this with somebody that you know might be struggling for sugar control, might need struggling from the sugar quarantine 20 thing, whatever they call it, corn 20 now I'm hearing, but just want to feel better, because ketones do help with our cognition. They help with recall. A lot of stress going on. Been in the office today, seeing a lot of food panels indicating a lot of adrenal stress on our bodies just from what's going on. I don't want to wear a mask, or making me wear a mask. I want to go back to work. I don't want to go back to work. Or, hey, I haven't been to work, but I'm home eating all day long because the kids are here all day long. Spring break is still going on at my house. Or how am I supposed to get through this? Or are my kids going to college? Are they not going to college? Or what are they going to do? So there's so much noise going on loudly and softly inside our head, plus the other stuff, the violence and peace going on, that first of all, take care of yourself. Take care of your heart, take care of your body, take care of your nutrition, and it starts with finding things that inspire you to be the best version of yourself. You need to be healthy first so you can take care of yourself and your loved ones, right? Moms, we're the dictator of our tables. Dads too, you're the dictator of their tables. But if you're struggling with sugar cravings, it's real, it's highly addictive, and we know what sugar cravings can do. Think of an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, if you're just craving sugar, you can be mean, you can be sad, you can be a romantic, you can be a fighter. So lots of different things happen when you crave sugar. Or think of a child who has ADHD who craves sugar. They can be mean, they can be violent, they can be sleepy. Lots of different symptoms. So my thing is, ketones are all natural. They're an amazing tool that I'd love to share with you. So if this seems something you'd like to do, we also have an amazing 10-day program that we take you through each and every day. We guide you. Jill can help you find information. Hey, Scott, we missed you Friday. I tried to find you. We had our 35th year high school reunion on Friday get together. So anyway, so I'm talking to Scott and talk to Bill about that. But if you want more information about this, you want to help, and you know, the great goal is that people end up losing lots of fat, hundreds of pounds, 200s of pounds. And for me, it wasn't about fat. It was about protecting my lean muscle mass that I worked so hard to gain. It was about getting my brain back on point, target back on point, having better memory as I started passing over that big 50 number a couple years ago. And it is about being the strongest version of myself at this age and participating in life at a very high level with my 4 young men, and taking care of my mom, who is getting ready to turn the big 80. So it's all different goals for each person. But what are your goals? Why do you want to be a better version of yourself? Why do you want to be healthy? Why do you want to be stronger? Why would you want to protect your lean muscle mass? Why do you want to be a better version of yourself? Maybe it's a little vanity, and that's okay. Like, feel better in your swimsuit, feel better in your swim shorts, feel better at the lake. That's okay. Feel better when you go to a wedding, get in your suit or your little black dress for a wedding, or we've got weddings coming out, that's why I'm saying that, or your graduation parties, whatever it may be, that's okay. It's making a healthier version of yourself. So if you want to know how to get pure therapeutic ketones, if you want to know more about the OMED fasting, I think right now we're going to do an OMED every single Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday on this page. We're going to do it Thursday to Friday. So Thursday to Friday, OMED on this page. We'll lead it, we'll start it. It may be confusing. OMED is 1 meal every day. So we'll have a meal on Thursday, and then we won't have another meal until Friday. So whether that be lunch to lunch for you on Thursday to Friday, or brunch to brunch, or dinner to dinner, we're going to all participate in that. I'm going to follow Dr. Jason Funk's protocol. Yes, I'm going to have some ketones when I feel tired. I may have some broth if I feel tired. if I know that I've had both of those, I've had plenty of water. I may have some Mitoplex if I worked out and I've sweat quite a bit. If I go to hot yoga or if I done a lot of yard work, I'm sweating, I'm going to add some Mitoplex or some pink Himalayan sea salt in there. We're going to help you get through that because that's a great way to flush out your body and naturally detoxify and defrag it and reboot it. So thanks again for joining me, guys. I know you hung with me a long time. It's way late for me. I want to say good night to everybody. Thanks for waiting on me. I know I've been late getting on Facebook Live, but we've had a lot of stuff going on with our family. I know you guys have well. So thanks for joining me. Again, if someone tagged you in this video, get back with them and they can help share how you can get your ketones or maybe some Mitoplex or figure out more about this conversation. We do have a great community group where we share lifestyle, we share workout, we share successes, we share struggles. We help you get through those type of things. So if you want to know more about that community group, then people can help you get to that community group. So you guys have a blessed evening. Good to see you tonight. I'm sorry it's so late, but you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining.